Hello and welcome back to another video. This week we're going to do another comparison. This time, however, it's going to be Assetto Corsa Competizione, Automobilista 2, Le Mans Ultimate, and a new contender, RaceRoom. Last time out, we compared how ACC, AMS2, and Le Mans Ultimate fared in their representations of the iconic and legendary track Spa-Francorchamps. This time, we're going to see how the four titles do when we compare their versions of the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola. The first lap will be in ACC, which was released the 29th of May 2019, releasing their version of Imola the 18th of November 2020. The second lap will be Automobilista 2, which was released the 31st of March 2020, so a year later, followed by the lap in Le Mans Ultimate, which was released the 23rd of July 2024, and finally the RaceRoom Lap, which was originally released the 12th of February 2013, with their version of Imola being released the 12th of September 2017. We don't have a real-world lap to compare against this time. However, we'll finish off the video with some transitions between a clear day, a rainy track, and a night track for ACC, Automobilista 2 and Le Mans Ultimate, with an overcast and sunset lap for RaceRoom because I couldn't find rain or nighttime sessions when looking through the menu options. So just like the previous video, let me know in the comments which game you believe does the best job of representing Imola. Is it ACC, Automobilista 2, Le Mans Ultimate, or RaceRoom? And let me know why. I'm going to try and probably fail not to give my biases as to which version I prefer or to segue into which game I prefer, and just try and elicit when it comes to the track texture, the color, the representation of what the track looks like today in 2024, which one evokes the best sense of, yes, that's Imola when you watch the lap. Again, I've tried to make sure that the graphic settings are set to maximum or the highest that they can get. So for ACC, it is set to the VR Epic setting. For Le Mans Ultimate, everything is set to Ultra. For RaceRoom, everything is also set to max graphics. And for Automobilista 2, as always, the graphic settings are set to their highest because we don't have to mess around with any settings when it comes to VR and Automobilista 2. Since all of the games were released at different times and had different versions of Imola available to scan and to reproduce at the time, it's really important that when comparing them, we give some consideration to the fact that some of the games are modern. Some of the games are pretty much legacy. I mean, RaceRoom, this is the first time I've given it any proper attention, and it's been out since 2013. So it'd be unfair to compare it to something like Le Mans Ultimate, which was released just earlier this year. Having said that, just like with Spa, it was interesting to note that whether it was ACC, Automobilista 2, or Le Mans Ultimate, or RaceRoom, each of them had their own distinct pros and cons when it comes to what I saw when I looked at the lap and what I've seen when watching a lap on TV, whether it's in Formula 1 or in WEC or any other series. No one game, or two games I should say, had exactly the same textures or coloration when it came to the track or to the grass or to the fencing. Each of them also had its own distinct variations when it came to the coloration of the skybox, whether it was the clear day weather, whether it was the rainy weather, whether it was the night session, or for, again, RaceRoom, the lack thereof of a light session. When it came to lighting, each game brought its own flavor, its own color palette, giving its own experience. Each of the games again goes great lengths to try and have a really good representation of where the markers are for the braking zones, where the off-track decals are, whether that's the advertising hoardings, whether it's the marshal stands, or where the trees are located around the track. And when we talk about the trees, again, across all four games, the foliage looks different. Not necessarily saying one's better or worse, different. And again, when it comes to different and the visuals, 'cause I'm trying to focus on the visuals, what the track looks like, what the game looks like when producing the track. It was interesting to note that after months of tweaking in ACC, it's as good as it gets. Sometimes in ACC, the picture quality is, I'm going to say, epic. The setting is VR epic, and again, it does look epic. But then when contrasting that with Automobilista 2, the lighting effects in Automobilista 2 are just something else. The sun rays, the light shafts, everything in Automobilista 2 just really brings the track alive. When looking at Le Mans Ultimate, again, months of tweaking, the image is really crystal clear. Everything from the pit lane, the track, the foliage, the stands, the horizon, everything is really crisp. What I noticed in RaceRoom, at the first time of trying, I just didn't manage to get that crisp, epic looking visual. Now, I'm not going to judge it, not yet. That would just be unfair. I've probably spent 20 minutes in RaceRoom. I set it up, I set up the controls, I changed the graphics. I first of all went for the recommended VR settings, and then I just changed them to Ultra. The reason I changed them to Ultra was because in VR, in the BigScreen Beyond, in an image environment that I've been expecting really great things now based on what I've seen again across ACC, across Le Mans Ultimate especially, and what I got used to in Automobilista 2. I was expecting that when I looked at RaceRoom I would see something similar, and I didn't. It looked a little bit fuzzy, a little less sharp, a little less crisp. However, I'm going to put that down to I haven't really optimized the settings. It's a 2013 game, so I should expect it to look a little bit dated. However, I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to make that my final determination of RaceRoom, because again, as I said, all I did was install it, load it up, drive the lap. I set the graphics twice. I didn't go and investigate and find out what the best tweaks were. I've done nothing to the NVIDIA control panel. I've done nothing, but I did notice out of the box that visually across the four, it was the one where I thought, my image does not look as crisp, as clear as the other three games. So my experience of Imola does not look as crisp, as clean, as enjoyable as the other three games. But again, for all of you who've been playing RaceRoom for some significant time, let me know what I've done wrong, let me know what I'm missing, let me know where I need to go to figure out what I need to do to get the visual quality in RaceRoom to be on par with what I can see in Assetto Corsa Competizione and what I can see in Le Mans Ultimate, which, as you know, at the moment is the image that I am favouring the most. I'm not going to say it's the best, I'm just going to say I'm favouring it the most at the moment because it's the crispest, the cleanest that I'm getting out of the BigScreen Beyond. What was also interesting to note across the different titles, when it came to the rain footage that you're going to see later, you'll see, as with Spa, that each of the Assetto Corsa Competizione or the Le Mans Ultimate or the Automobilista 2 laps just looks different. They just do rain effects different. I mean, first of all, Le Mans Ultimate still has rain coming into the car, but we won't talk about that. It was a shame that I couldn't get rain for RaceRoom because I would have liked to see how that did rain compared to the other three titles. But it's just really interesting also that when looking at ACC, Automobilista 2 and Le Mans Ultimate at night, they have a different approach to nighttime as well. For all sessions, the day session was set for 9 AM. The night session was set for 2 AM. However, in ACC and Automobilista 2, their night is dark. Even though it's a summer's day, because that's the date that I selected, and it's a clear sky at night, it's dark. The headlights don't really illuminate too far down the track, and it's like in real life when you're driving in the dark and you think, I need to flick on the high beams if I want to see more than 100 meters in front of me. Whereas in Le Mans Ultimate, nighttime, again 2 AM, a clear night, is pretty light. It's like one of those summer nights where you can see for miles. It's like it's a late sunset and it hasn't got dark yet. Other differences across the 4 games, and I'm going to try not to fall into the pitfall I have previously and talk about the force feedback. I'm not talking about that at all, but I'm going to talk about the physics and what's coming back to me through the wheel, is each of the 4 track surfaces feels different. And I don't know if it's the track surface, it's the tyres in the game. However, what it does do is it makes Imola as a track to race on feel different across the 4 games. So again, just like before, you let me know which of the 4 titles do you race regularly, which of the 4 titles have you raced at Imola, and in your opinion, which of them does it the best justice? Which of them for you takes the prize? Let me know in the comments and let me know why.
Track limits.
Thank you again for every like, share, comment and subscription. They go such a long way to helping the channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of them. I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.